16th Lok Sabha, I have moved a private member resolution, and the government has appreciated it, and a committee is appointed, and the high empowered committee went into the matter of EPS 95, and it is decided, recommended to increase the minimum pension to a higher level, and the Labour Ministry has also accepted. It is pending before the Finance Ministry. So my first submission regarding is the minimum pension has to be enhanced as per the recommendation of the High Empowered Committee, number one. Madam, number two is inordinate delay in the disbursal of the lawfully entitled pensionary benefit to the contributors for pension on higher wages. Higher pension on the basis of actual wages is as per the directive of the Supreme Court 411/2022. It's a clear verdict from the part of the Supreme Court that higher pension is entitled on the basis of the actual wages. But it is quite unfortunate to note that now it is being also delayed. Most of the officers, PF officers, are not disbursing the amount in time. And the number three is unlawful introduction of pro rata calculation method for higher pension, overpowering the parliamentary provision and disregarding the Appellate Court judgment dated 4/11/2022. That is, the pensionable service is divided into two, and the wages is also divided into two before 2014 and after 2014. Thereby 30 to 35% of the pension will be reduced. It is a gross violation of the Supreme Court judgment as well as the act passed by the Parliament. And therefore I urge upon the government. And also one more point, that is non-compliance of the judgment dated 4/11/2002 of the Supreme Court as well as on 35/2004 the High Court of Kerala in respect of the petition of my pensioners in the CPSUs in Kerala. In Kerala they didn't opt under para 11 for the scheme. Because of the court judgments are there, so they did it. But they are now being denied this higher pension. So all these issues goes to show that the Employees Provident Fund organization is always acting against the interests of the poor laborers in the country. So the government of India, an urgent meeting may be convened so as to discuss this issue and so as to resolve all this.
The fourth meeting of the GST Council took several decisions. I'll give a broad sketch of the decisions, and particular details can always be gotten into by the Revenue Secretary and his team. There were two status reports to be submitted. I'll start with them. One is the GOM, the group of ministers, on the rate rationalization, and the other is the GOM on real estate, both of whom had to submit or present a status report to the council, post which these discussions can happen subsequently. The rate rationalization GOM presented their details as to what has happened till now, and they've also called for a meeting 23rd of this month, I think. So the group of ministers on rate rationalization will meet among themselves, but a status report was given. Then a GOM on the real estate also submitted its status report. So these were scheduled statuses which had to be submitted. Then a status on, if many of you all will recollect, we had taken this decision on the casinos, online gaming and horse race. And at that time we said after the notification and after its implementation, 6 months after that, we will come up with a status. So even that status on online gaming and casinos was also presented to the council. I just want to give you one nugget from that online and casino based status which was submitted to the council. The revenue from online gaming has increased by 412%. That is, it has reached 6,909 crores. Just for 6 months, I'm giving you the figure. This amount, 6,909 crore, is earned in a period of 6 months. I'll give you the date. From 1,349 crore it was before the notification issued on the online gaming. The comparison is of 6 months prior to the notification and 6 months after the notification. And the council decision was in October 23, if you'll recall. So, similarly, for casinos, the revenue has increased by 30% from 164.6 crores earlier to 214 crores. Again, a comparison of 6 months prior to the decision and 6 months after the decision. So, the three statuses I've commented on. One is on the rate rationalization, the other is the real estate, the third is after 6 months I was expecting to have a status report submitted on the casinos and horse racing and online gaming. So that has been presented. Now, two new GOMs have been decided. One is on the medical and health insurance. It will be the rate rationalization GOM headed by the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, but with newer members added for this limited purpose. The rate rationalization GOM under the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar will be doing its job, but under his leadership, with newer members who have volunteered for the limited purpose of medical health insurance related GST, we have told them that they will look into this matter and come with a report by end of October, just 1.5 months' time. And the GST Council, which will meet in November, will finalize based on this report which will come from the GOM. So why did we have to refer that to the GOM? Medical insurance related. There was good discussion, but the details of the discussion made us feel that there is more to understand and more to take a decision on. For instance, many resident welfare associations have asked, what if they do a group insurance for the residents? What happens to group insurance of companies? What happens to senior citizens? What happens to life insurance as opposed to term insurance? There are also requests already in the Commission to deal with medical health related situations, mental health related to situations, not medical, mental health related situation also was a separate agenda, but that got clubbed to this. So, the insurance related matters, the Council felt, because of the various dimensions which came in, which I've just narrated to you, it might be worth a group of ministers to very quickly look into it. And by end of October, if they came in with their suggestions, the November GST meeting could take a call on that. So a new GOM, which is essentially the same GOM as rate rationalization GOM, but for this limited purpose, newer members join in, and only for this limited purpose they will submit a report before end of October. Another GOM is for, let me tell you a background for it. We had discussed about the compensation cess, and it was understood, and it is clearly till March 2026 is when we can collect the compensation cess, which is the extended compensation cess. The extended compensation cess is being collected to repay the back-to-back loans which were taken and also to service the interest on it. Now, earlier also it was indicated, but even now I would indicate probably by January 2026 itself we will be clearing the back-to-back loan and the interest, and therefore till March, which is about 2 months of compensation cess, which would be left over. But compensation cess ends by March 2026. It's always been one of the points in the council to see what are we going to do with that cess collection, which was all the while meant for compensation giving. But after that, what is it that we want to do? About that, we have been saying we will certainly discuss. So today in the council, the position on compensation cess was very clearly put up, discussed. I'm just showing you a printout, but I'm sure the message will reach you all about what exactly was the situation. So the total cess collection, actual and projected up to March 2025, is 8,66,706 crores. And compensation paid till 5th September 2024 is minus 6,64,203. Back to back loan repayable is minus 269,208. So interest on it is about, back to back loan is about 51,561, which is negative. So excess compensation to be recovered is a certain amount, and the projected surplus, which I told you will be 2 months of collection, it will be in the range of 40,000 crores. I'm not giving you the exact number, but 40,000 crores is what would be the surplus after paying back the back to back and so on. So this was presented, and after that there was a lot of discussion. So we have agreed to form a GOM which will now take it up to study every state and their discussion, because Karnataka minister came up with figures which are applicable to his state. So we've said all other states which want to give theirs, we're not compelling anybody, but whoever wants to give can give, and the group of secretaries and others would discuss about it. So they will be again a group of ministers who will decide how to go forward in the name of compensation cess. It shall no longer be compensation post March 2026, but that cess, how to go about it, what to do with it, and so on, will be discussed by the group of ministers. Then there is a committee of secretaries also decided today for the purpose of explaining and also deciding on how to take the IGST forward. A detailed discussion was held because today we have a negative balance on IGST. So in this regard, the council decided that to finalize the way forward, a committee under the chairmanship of the Additional Secretary Revenue will be set up with officers of both state and center. You know, now there is a lot of balance which has to be retrieved from states who had excess IGST given to them over the period. So to discuss that, there will be a committee of secretaries who will explain how this whole thing has worked. There was also this request again from Karnataka Finance Minister that the formulation, the modus operandi of IGST, how it works, how it is calculated, how it is used for deploying resources, may again be explained to whoever wants. There is no compulsion that everybody, some ministers felt that they would want to understand it better. So Revenue Secretary would have an informal meeting as and when they want. Not in person, whoever wants it, they can come on a video and talk to him to understand how IGST works. At the moment, the negative balance, which has to be retrieved from some of the states which have had excess payment done, will have to be done. But the committee of secretaries, committee of officers will decide on to take it forward as to how. and that will have officers both from the center and state. So these are the committees and some of the decisions which have been given to committees, some with a very limited time span. I again remind you, on the medical insurance, they'll have to come back by October. So on the, there was one more which they have to come back by October, IGST. On the IGST, the secretary, the committee of officers will have to come back. Then the council has today decided that funds given for research to state affiliated universities or universities which are which have come about with state laws, or universities which have come about with central laws, or those institutions which have obtained income tax exemption. So 3 categories. 1, universities and research centers which have been established by a law of the central government. 2, universities and research centers established by a law of the state governments, or those institutions which, as a 3rd category, those institutions which have obtained income tax exemption can receive research funds both from public, which is government, and from private, and they shall not pay GST. They are exempted from paying the GST.